Hi, Yeti.
I love mouses.
How are you? Hope you're fine. It is your Shy Yeti show.
Okay, where you go?
Why have I got horns?
Oh no.
Oh, it's the Shy Life Podcast.
Oh, there's going to be some drama ahead.
All I wanted was a pie, and then I hatched out of an egg.
Okay, bring the mic over. He's ready to record. Is it metaphorical? Is it deep? Oh, the show's being so international.
Boy, he said all that guy is right.
Such a woman.
Why me, Governor? It's the Shy Life Podcast.
I do know how he done it.
Excellent. 766.
Bonjour et bienvenue au podcast The Shy Life.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Shy Life Podcast with me, Paul the Shy Yeti. How are you doing? Oh, I'm all right. Well, actually, I'm all packed and ready to go because we're going on a little trip this episode. I don't quite know how much of it you will witness, so I have lined up a number of different chats and recordings that have been waiting to be released for a while now. So I'll use the travel as the sort of linking sections and let you know what I'm up to. And the rest of the episode, we'll just see what happens when I edit it all together. Anyway, let's run the theme music, and when we come back, I'll tell you a little bit more about what we're doing first, but before we head off. But anyway, so let's just run the music, and back in a moment.
Darling, it's the Shy Life Podcast.
My favorite person is here.
Keep it rolling, keep it rolling.
Yes, but it's supposed to be painful. The High Life, the Shy Life.
I'll go anywhere but potato.
Hello, Captain.
How are you?
Go Shy Yeti.
Oh, I haven't found out my secret. What do you have?
I love the Yeti. Yes, it's my favorite thing.
If you thought that was bad, just listen to this.
Yeah, I'm strangely drawn to Yeti Uncle John's ankles as well.
I could eat my body weight in crisps.
Has anyone seen my hot sausage?
It's all gooey and meaty and yum, 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 yum.
It was enormous.
I don't think I'm ready to speak about it.
Here comes the grizzly.
It's the Shy Life Podcast.
I can't wait for it to begin.
Alright, I'm just being an alien.
I like that.
Hi there.
Marvelous, Paul.
Putting back no nothing sanity.
So, yes, where are we off to? Well, we're going to the Isle of Wight to see my friend KV. Well, his real name's Mark, but I call him KV, and he calls me Yets. And, we're actually meeting up because it's Eurovision Song Contest weekend at time of recording, and I'd commented to him that I'd sort of lost interest a bit in Eurovision since Harry had stopped having his Eurovision parties. They used to be good fun because, there was a few of us in a room and we used to have a score sheet and we'd have nice food and drink whilst we watched. And it's not the same watching it by yourself. And so mostly I haven't the last few years. So originally, Mark and I were going to do something here at my flat, as he usually comes here to visit rather than me going to him. But then we just decided it would be nicer if I went over because I'd not visited him in the Isle of Wight. It also meant that his flatmate could be involved. It seemed like a good idea. So this is what I will be doing while I'm travelling this episode, going to the Isle of Wight. It's not the first time we've been there on the Shy Life Podcast. We went, about 20 2017 or 2018 or something. Callum and I went over for a few days. On that journey, we were also on the search for a friend who we knew was somewhere on the island. And anyway, it's a long time ago now. You may remember. So I think a little bit of music, and then, well, I'm just going to record whenever I get a chance. So maybe on the train, I have to go to Woking, then I have to change and go to Portsmouth, and then I have to go on the boat. It would be nice to record on the boat. I shall see if I can do that. Well, I guess it's a ferry. Boat, ferry, it's the same thing. And then, well, I don't know what we're up to. I'm there from Friday afternoon till Monday morning. So, if I get a chance, I'll record. I don't know that I'll get a chance to record with Mark, because I don't think he's really into podcasting. I don't think he's into recording. He's into radio and sounds and clever stuff like that, but I'm not sure that he'll be appearing. Unless he does, quite unexpectedly. I don't know. So I really don't know how to plan for this episode, except that I have plenty of recordings with various guests. A time of recording, I don't know which recordings I'll select. So, yeah, it's just best I get started. And then we'll see how the episode develops. This is kind of my summer holiday, sort of, going to the Isle of Wight. I mean, I got to go on a boat. It's exciting. I'm looking forward to it, but I hope it doesn't rain. I hope it's not too windy. Anyway, right, let's play some music and we'll see where I end up. All right. Hey, listeners, the journey has begun. I'm in a taxi. This wasn't the original plan, but when I was talking to Mark about travelling, I wasn't sure if the train went from platform 4, which is the one that I usually get when I go to Salisbury, and I would emerge onto it if I got the train from here. Well, apparently no, it goes from platform 5, which is best approached from the car park. I mean, there are lifts usually which would have got me to platform 5, but apparently they're not working. They're being, something's happening to them. So I would have to have gone up the stairs, and I'd also have to have gone up the stairs here. So I just thought, why not? Why not just get a taxi, and I can get there in plenty of time, which is why I'm in a taxi. All right, okay. More when I get to Woking. I'm now on a train. I never got to do a message at Woking Station because my plans changed slightly. When I got to Woking, the taxi driver dropped me off on the wrong side, or maybe I told him the wrong side, but I don't know. I was confused because it said the name of the road, and anyway, you don't need to know that. I must have chosen the wrong side, or he got it wrong. Anyway, by the time I got to my platform, which after all meant that I did go up and down stairs, which I'd been trying to avoid doing, I was going to get a coffee, but then I saw that there was a train coming in that was going to Portsmouth, and although it stops at more stops, it still gets there a little bit earlier. So I thought, why not? It's gives me a bit more time to get to the boat, because I was only going to have about 10 minutes. So now I've got more like 20, 25. So yes, I'm on the train. We've just left Godalming, and this train stops at a lot more stops, but still goes in the same route. And the next stop is, I'm not sure, Haslemere, Liphook, Liss, Haslemere probably. Yeah. So yeah, well, I'll report when I get to Portsmouth Harbour, hopefully on the boat. That would be nice. If you feel like you need to go and listen to some other material at any point in this episode, then please do so. I've got stuff prepared. I just don't know quite what I'm recording, or how much I'll be recording this weekend. So, editor Paul in the future, you make that decision for me. Thank you. It's very nice countryside out this way. I used to do walks in this sort of area on the Surrey Hills, and I remember doing a walk with Callum from Petersfield to Liss, or maybe Liss to Petersfield, and I wrote a poem about it anyway. Well, not about the actual walk, but anyway. I'll shut up, I promise. Okay, more coming up. Hello, I'm on the boat, the ferry. The rest of the train journey went fine. I think that was a good plan, getting that earlier train, because I even had time to get a coffee and a sandwich. Actually, they said, yes, I don't know why, but I guess I had a bit of a weird lunch, a bit of an early lunch, and not a massive lunch. I suddenly felt really hungry. So, yeah, I got a sandwich and a coffee, and then she said, well, it's actually going to be £1.50 cheaper if you get a packet of crisps as well. So, okay. So I did. I haven't eaten those. I ate the sandwich, and I'm still drinking the coffee. And I'm on the ferry, and it's a bit noisy, but it's fine. I would have liked to have gone up on the sun deck, but I think as this is my first trip over to Seamark, it's just best to take things slowly and not overexert myself. So I'm going overseas. I've left the mainland. I'm going to this small island. The Isle of Wight is also known as the homeland of the Yeti. I don't really know why, except that's what I decided it was about 15 years ago, when I went there and made a Shy Yeti on location video there. And of course I've since returned on the podcast 5 or 6 years ago, as I have already said at the start of the show. Anyway, it's a nice day to be travelling. It's not too bumpy. It's actually blue skies, not a cloud in the sky, which I guess is sort of what you expect for mid-May, but yeah, I haven't been out much recently, so yeah, it's nice to see the water. I was born near the sea, not at Portsmouth, but near Bournemouth, so I guess I do like the sea, but yeah, so next stop is when I get to the other side, it's like a little tube train, the island line. I just take one stop, which is basically the length of the pier, so I don't have to walk the pier, and then I will sit and wait until Mark arrives, because I'll be arriving around 5 o'clock, but he'll have to leave work and take a bus from Newport to meet me at Ryde. And but anyway, I don't mind waiting. I'm not sure what comes next after that bit, because I don't know what I'll be recording whilst I'm here, but I'll do my best. Listeners. Anyway, right, so next stop will be the island line, and then if I don't get a chance to record then, because I think the journey will be like 1 minute or something, 2 minutes at most, and I'll report when I get to Ryde, which is spelled R-Y-D-E, not like the Beatles song Ticket to Ride, but I mean effectively that's what I had today, was a ticket to Ryde, but spelled differently. Okay, I'll shut up. Speak to you in a bit. Hi listeners, I'm at Ryde Esplanade. I went on the little island line one stop, as I mentioned, and I'm sitting opposite the Hong Kong Express under a tree, and apparently Mark is on his way, so hopefully all the buses go from around here. This seems to be roughly the area where they're pulling in, so I shall sit in the sun and wait. And as I said, I'm not sure what happens next, but we shall see, and you shall hear. I shall see, and you shall hear. Right, more later. Hello listeners, we're back again, and I'm here with Mama Yeti, and hello Mum.
Hi.
We're going to do two things today. We're going to talk about the books that I read last year. It's a much shorter list than previously, so it wasn't worth doing a whole episode on. But we're also going to then talk about some favourites that Mum has found in the Telephone Box bookshop, ones that she's kept for herself, at least for now. But, you know, that's the perk of the job. But anyway, before we go on to your books, Mum, I'll just talk about the ones that I read. It was only 15 books, which is less than half what I read the previous year. But I did enjoy them. Let me see, let's start. The first one I read, which I think I was reading at the end of I was reading at the end of 2023, but sort of went into 2024. It was called Will She Do? Act 1 of A Life on Stage. It was an autobiography by Eileen Atkins, the actress. And, it was just sort of lots of anecdotes about her life and her work, and I like that sort of thing. And she did a lot of work on stage. It's always sort of quite interesting hearing about the connections that or people that that they work with, who they become good friends with, and sometimes there's surprising connections. I must say I don't remember a lot about it now, but it was enjoyable. So that was the first book I completed. After that, I read another Lisa Jewell book. Lisa Jewell's the author I've read a lot of the last couple of years, who writes a lot of psychological thrillers, and you've got I've recommended some of hers to you, although you were reading one last year that I hadn't actually.
Yes, well, I read one which I found difficult to follow, but I think it was either the second or third part of a trilogy.
Yeah, I think
and I should have read them in order.
Yeah, well,
definitely, I didn't think that she sorted out the character sufficiently to read it.
No, well, it was unfortunate of all the ones that happened to turn up in the phone box. The one I read was called The Girls, and it was about one of those sort of big, I guess, like flat block of flats, but in a relatively well-off area, but where there was like a communal garden, and you got to meet the different families. But something happened in the garden, and they're trying to work out who was responsible. I can't remember if it was a murder or whether it was just an attack. But yeah, there was lots of twists and turns. The book I read after that was also Lisa Jewell, and that was called None of This Is True. That one was voted Crime Novel of the Year in 2024. It must have been her most recent one.
Yes, I have another one here, interrupting you, Paul, because I thought I'd give her another try, as it wasn't really fair. Once I got to the end, I knew what the beginning was on about, but that was a bit frustrating. But somebody had left a book called Watching You. That was published in 2018, so I thought I'd give that a go. I'm a bit of a squirreler, working as a librarian and now custodian of the...
I think I have read that one. Let me just have a look at the back. So listeners, this doesn't work. I think that might be the first one I read. It's about somebody who's moved back to the UK after working abroad, and lives at their brother's house, and then meets the next door neighbour, and and there's a sort of obsession. And I think that might be the first one. I think you'll get on better with that one, because I think it's just it's certainly not linked to any other.
I was just looking at the book list actually, and this was in 2018, and she'd already written about 15 books there, 12 to 15.
Yeah, I'm not sure she started off necessarily writing the psychological ones. I think she's written sort of other books or TV tie-in books. So I think this is perhaps, maybe that's what she started off doing, and then ended up sort of, I guess as people do more successfully, they're given more chance to write what they enjoy writing as well. Yeah, I mean, the one, None of This Is True, is about friends who are sort of reconnect after years. I know I enjoyed it, but I can't remember a lot about it, because I've read. Sorry, this is not very good to say that.
Well, isn't it? It wasn't exactly.
That's just old age. The next book I read was an Armistice Maupin one called Maybe the Moon, which is one of the books. I think it was pretty much one of the only ones of his I hadn't reread, and it's about it's a sort of like a diary of a very short actress who is always very talented, only is given sort of ridiculous roles, or like roles where she's stuck in prosthetics, playing like a tiny alien or something like that. And I think it was actually based on somebody he knew. This is pretty rare, but I remember when I read it first, I think I remember reading it when I was in Las Vegas in 2000. It must have stuck in my head because I can sort of picture reading it in the hotel. So it's been 24 years or so since I read it. So I often read his Tales of the City books again, but there are only 2 books he's ever written that aren't part of Tales of the City, and that's one of them. After that, I read a sort of another autobiography, I guess it was an autobiography by Rupert Everett, because I've read quite a few of his books in the last few years, and he's very engaging. I can't quite remember what period of his life that one is. Let me just see if it says. It certainly wasn't his first book. That was Red Carpets and Other Banana Skins, and I read that the previous year. Yeah, I guess it's sort of, he was writing about a pilgrimage he made to Lourdes with his father, a misguided step into reality TV which went wrong, and travelling from New York to Moscow to Berlin to Phnom Penh. It was just really enjoyable, and I think I pretty much read everything he's written, although he wrote a book of short stories last year which I haven't read yet. I don't think I've read any of his fiction, but his non-fiction is very readable. Saved by the Bell. Well, it's not really a bell, is it? Anyway,
Who the bell tolls?
Yeah. Following that, I read another Armistice Maupin book that was new at the time, called Mona of the Manor. He hasn't written one for, 10 years. It's sort of in some ways a sequel to his 4th book, which was set in the UK, going back to the characters that were left in the UK, living in a big house, and some of the other characters from the Tales of the City series going back and visiting. Well, you don't get a book from Armistice Maupin very often, so I gobbled that one up in, I think, 3 days. Following that, I read At My Mother's Knee and Other Low Joints, Tales from Paul O'Grady's childhood, which I think when I spoke about his books before, I think I mentioned that I wasn't sure how much I'd enjoy them. I was sure they'd be good, because I was sure he would be full of stories, but I didn't start with the childhood, because sometimes with some, this was a multiple series where there was a number of books, but some autobiographies obviously have the whole life in a book, and depending on how well they write or how exciting a childhood they had, the childhood bits can be a bit of a chore with some, it just depends, really. Because I didn't know how much I'd enjoy the Paul O'Grady books, I started with the second one, and then by the time I got to the end of the 3 books, I think it was, I went back and I read the childhood one, and it was just as good and just as full of stories. After that, I read an autobiography of the band Duran Duran, who I like. It was called Please Please Tell Me Now, which is one of the lyrics of one of their songs. No, I don't think there is an official biography of Duran Duran, but or definitive one. There were a number out there, but I enjoyed it, and I certainly learnt a few things that I didn't know about them. Following that, back when I was a kid, they used to novelise Doctor Who stories, and they would be stories that had been on TV, and as Mum can attest, I still have some in the bedroom upstairs. I don't have the full set anymore because Nick sold a lot of his, or got rid of a lot of his, because he didn't think he wanted them anymore, and then changed his mind and started collecting them again. And I just said, well, why don't you just take the ones you want from my collection? Because now he's got them again. He better keep them. But they've been novelising some of the recent stories since the 60th, and The Star Beast was the first one. It's the one where David Tennant came back. And I just thought it'd be interesting to see. There's so many books of Doctor Who that come out, so many novelisations, some of them original fiction and a lot of them original fiction. But I just thought it'd be interesting to read a Target novelisation. Target's the name of the publisher that used to published them back in the day. And it's very much done in that same sort of style. All those Target books were about 120 to 150 pages, and the new ones are done in very much the same style. They're a certain length, and I guess they're written for young teenagers. Yeah, it was interesting to see how they wrote for David Tennant. And I quite enjoyed that, and I think I bought the other two because they did 3 specials, and I bought all 3. But following that, I read another Lisa Jewell, The Night She Disappeared. That was quite good. It jumped through 3 different time periods, like one where the person who disappeared hadn't disappeared, one when they just disappeared, and one about 10 years later where they still had never actually solved what happened, but then eventually they do. And that was interesting. Then I read a Ramsey Campbell book called Midnight Sun. I've been reading Ramsey Campbell. He's sort of often described as the Stephen King of the UK. Not as well known, I wouldn't say, as Stephen King. And the book I read after this is also by somebody who could be called the UK Stephen King. But Midnight Sun was set in a winter in a sort of village where the main character had moved to, and there were sort of lots of weird things going on, like spirits in the forest, and it was quite eerie. It wasn't like gory like a Stephen King book can be, but it was a good read. And the following book wasn't a bad companion, and I think you recommended me this because you'd read this one. It was by James Herbert, The Magic Cottage. And that again was set out in the woods somewhere in a house, and it was all sort of weird because the cottage was like a living thing, wasn't it? It
was almost science fiction plus ghosts, spiritualism all rolled into one. But it was written very well. Well, it suited my way of reading anyway.
Yeah, it was very easy to read. I've just got 3 more. As I'd read Maybe the Moon by Armistice Maupin, I went back and read The Night Listener, which is the other non-Tales of the City book. The main character isn't a podcaster, but if it was written today, it probably would be a podcaster. It was a character who was a writer, but he had a radio show, and one of his fans, who was very, very ill, contacted him, and he sort of befriended this person who called in. But as things go on, in a way it's a bit ahead of its time, because it's sort of almost before social media, where you could be talking to somebody for years and then discover they're not who they appear to be, and this is what happens. And again, it was sort of based on something that happened to Armistice Maupin himself. He is quite an autobiographical writer, even if you don't necessarily realise it. I mean, in the Tales of the City books, there are some murderers and nasty people. I hope he hasn't encountered those, but a lot of those books are based on his life in San Francisco. But then I read a book called Until the Fall. I've been reading this, well, because I rotate the books I read, and might be reading 10 books at once. This one was quite long, it took quite a long time. It was a sequel to a book I read called That Summer of 74, which I read the previous year. And I think it's only really not written by, I don't know if it was self-published, but I think it might have been. It's very difficult to tell, because you can buy self-published books on Amazon. You can buy some of my books on Amazon, hint. But, so it was just very engaging. The first book was about characters in 74, and then the second one, Until the Fall of 19, was the same characters 30, 40 years later. It had the same sort of vibe as something like Tales of the City, where you get to know the characters, and the first book was quite long too, so although there's only 2 books in that series, it was quite good to see how things had changed. And then the last book I read was called Giallo Meltdown 2, which was written by a friend of mine, and I've talked about his books before now. He writes a blog about Italian horror movies, giallo movies, when he does a podcast too. But this was his second book. He does weekends where he might watch 10, 15 films in the whole weekend, maybe sometimes with his wife, sometimes with friends, sometimes, and then he writes about it for the blog, and those blogs have been turned into books. So I think that was actually a new book that came out last year. He's written about 3 or 4 books now, and but I think that was an actual, it was published almost just over a year ago, so that was new. And I read bits and pieces of other books, but I just haven't finished them, and my reading schedule for 2025 is absolutely appalling, if non-existent. I mainly read books on my Kindle, and I went to read a Ruth Rendell book I'd started and found it had reset itself, and I couldn't remember where I'd last got to with it. So, and also with lots of horrible things going on in the world, I've been distracted by news articles and just haven't got back into reading, but hopefully I will. Hello, listeners, it's me. It's now Saturday morning, which is the 17th of May, and I've just had a very comfortable night's sleep. I think I was a bit excited about plans for the weekend. I don't know if I've mentioned, but this is Eurovision weekend. I probably have mentioned that, but anyway, yes, very comfortable bed. But yes, after I last spoke to you, Mike came and picked me up in Ryde, and we went back to Newport, and then went back to his house where I met the 2 cute cats who live here, and Mark's best friend, Fee, and we had lots of chats and beers and a really delicious dinner. And it was a very nice evening, but today, because it's supposed to be a nice day weather-wise, we're going on an adventure, Mark and I. We're supposed to be going to Allen Bay, which gives you a good view of the Needles, which is the coastline. Difficult to describe if you don't know about it, but anyway. I have a bus pass, so that makes it sound like I'm an old man. I am an old man, but Grizzly will tell me off for saying that. Okay, I'm a vintage man. I have a bus pass for 48 hours, so we can just hop on buses and explore, and then be back in time for Eurovision. Anyway, I'll leave it there for now, and we'll report again as and when we get out and about. Yeah, more soon. Hey listeners, we're at Allen Bay. We can see the Needles. They're behind a metal fence. It's because they're very dangerous and they may attack. You mustn't feed them. I can read you something. Marconi described the Needles station as the world's first permanent wireless station. It was erected under his personal supervision by his assistant George Kemp for Marconi's Wireless Telegraph Co. Limited, and was completed on the 5th of December 1897. Other radio technicists of this company who don't need to know that. But the station was dismantled in June 1900. It didn't last very long. It was only there for... Well, is that because the needles attacked here? Anyway, it's a world origin site. World's first permanent radio station. It's quite sunny. Go look around. There's some shops. You can buy coloured sand. It's very exciting. Don't eat the sand. We've just posed for a photo with a dinosaur. A real dinosaur. It was standing really still. So, yeah, we're very lucky. And then we went past the horsey thing, roundabout. That's what it's called, not the horsey thing. It wasn't working. But now we can see the Needles Coffee House. We can see the arcade. Do you remember, listeners, do you remember when we went to Swanage with Harry and Harry kept winning money on the arcade machines? It was dreadful. Then there's a shop that sells coloured sand and a shop that sells other things, so we're going to go and have a look at that. Mark's got his radio with him. He's hoping to contact or calling interplanetary most extraordinary craft, maybe not. We've just been in the shop. I bought tea bags, garlic, tomato ketchup, a fridge magnet with some of the coloured sand incorporated into it, a couple of tea towels, a pen, a lemon and garlic mayonnaise, which I thought would be nice with the steaks I've been having recently. Some postcards. That might be it. It all came to about £40. I had to resist buying a new baseball cap and a teddy bear, but what can you do? We're about to have an ice cream now. I think I'm having raspberry ripple and strawberry. 2 scoops in a cone. I'm being greedy. Mark's doing the honours. Yum yum. Hi listeners, we've just jumped on the bus after the ice cream and we've got off again at Yarmouth, which I've been to but not for quite a long time, probably more than 10 years ago. The weather's still nice and sunny, and there are lots of people pottering about, and it was a very good ice cream, by the way. Unfortunately, Mark couldn't have one because there's no dairy-free options, which is rather annoying. But anyway, we're going to enjoy the sun here for a bit longer and then hop on the number 7 bus again. We came up on the number 12 bus. We're now on the 7. Hi, listeners. Now back at Mark's house, and I'm in the garden looking at a very nice tree with blossom and trying to make friends with the cats. But it's not easy. No, they are friendly to me, especially compared to my parents' cats. Anyway, we're back, and we've been just chilling out before the Eurovision Song Contest. I was going to have a nap. I may still have a nap. There's still time. But I had a cup of tea and it woke me up a bit. Not sure what my overall favourite on Eurovision is going to be. I did on the semi-final. I voted for Australia, who got knocked out. So I probably hope that the UK wins, but I'm sure it won't. I think it's a good song this year. I'm not usually the sort of person who's patriotic and votes for their own country, but I do think it's a pretty good song. But I think, maybe there'll be others. At least I've done my prep. Anyway, we shall see what happens. We're having a buffet whilst we're watching. That's exciting. I'm going to go back inside now and see if I can catch another cup of tea. Can you catch cups of tea? Procure another cup of tea? We'll see. All right. More in a bit. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Paul.
Hello, Paul.
Hello, Toby and Lisa. What are you ringing for now? The 9th anniversary's passed.
Well, happy 10th.
Yes, happy 10th anniversary. We thought we'd get in really early.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we were early for the 9th, so why not be early for the 10th?
Yes.
I can definitely confirm you're the first people to have wished me a happy 10th anniversary, but, I mean, maybe it's like, when in Doctor Who, when they were celebrating the 10th anniversary, when they were celebrating their really more celebrating their 9th by the time it was shown. But anyway, well, I haven't made any plans yet for the 10th, but thank you anyway. Whilst you're here, do you have any more planet facts for us?
I suppose we could squeeze one more in, couldn't we, Lisa?
Yeah, got one more, haven't you?
So, Paul, what do you know about Uranus?
That's a bit personal. That's between me and my doctor.
Is it?
I don't know a lot about. You sit on it.
Lisa knows a lot about Uranus, don't you, Lisa?
Yeah, I've been in the garden of the house where Uranus was discovered.
Yeah. Mm. Well, Uranus was discovered on the 13th of March, 1781.
Blimey.
By Sir William Herschel. It's the first planet to be discovered after the invention of the telescope. So, although you can sort of see it in the sky if you're lucky, it's not that faint. So you can actually go out and see it. And it sort of was recorded, even as far back as possibly 128 BC. But the actual identification of it as being a planet was done by William Herschel from his garden in 19 New King Street in Bath. Mm-hmm. And we know that because we've actually been there. We didn't go there in 1781, did we?
We went there in the...
When did we go?
Oh, I don't know. It was 2000 and something. God,
was it about the year 2000 and something? Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because we went to stay in Bath.
Yeah.
And we had a room with a bath, didn't we?
In Bath.
In Bath. So I've probably had a bath in Bath.
Mm-hmm.
I had a bath in Bath. I had a bath in Bath in 2020. In fact, I recorded a bit of the podcast from the bath, and I had no clothes on, but nobody noticed.
Yeah. But I did go for a pee where Uranus was discovered, didn't I?
Well, not the exact spot.
Not the exact spot.
In the house.
But I went in William Herschel's toilet, didn't I?
Yes.
So yes, but yeah, if you can, it's basically his house is a museum now, isn't it?
Yes, it's the Herschel Museum,
and you can do a little tour around it, and you get those little sort of handheld things that talk to you. What are they called?
I don't know.
Sort of radio guide things.
Yeah. And there's a little film.
And there's a little film. And there's a little cinema that you can go in, except it's got a sloping roof, hasn't it?
And the man told you to mind your head.
And then I bumped my head on his
cinema,
on the roof,
on his ceiling.
Yeah,
yeah. But when you go in the garden, there's a cracked paving stone, isn't there?
Well, isn't it in the kitchen or something?
Yeah, somebody dropped something hot on the floor.
Yeah, yeah. So. But yeah, you can see a replica of his 6-inch that they've got on display, haven't they? His 6-inch telescope, and isn't there? Because wasn't his sister really, really small? Because his sister
wasn't there.
His sister's Caroline Herschel.
Caroline, yes.
And
she was an astronomer as well, but she's a woman. She's not as well remembered.
She was tiny, wasn't she?
Well, apparently so. But
I wonder if I've got her.
It's about 4 foot something, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was 4 foot 3 inches tall.
Crumbs.
Yeah. So yeah.
So if you made a drama about it, you'd have to get like Warwick Davis to play her in a wig.
Yeah. She was struck with a severe case of typhus.
Oh dear. So,
as far as planets go, is it hospitable? Can I stay in a Airbnb?
I would take a jumper.
Okay.
Because it has a minimum temperature of 49. But not 49 Fahrenheit or 49 centigrade, 49 Kelvin. Which translates to minus 224 degrees centigrade.
Well, that's a little bit nippy.
Or for American listeners, minus 371 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, just a little bit chilly.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that, doesn't it? That's like 42 years of sunlight and 42 years of darkness.
Yeah, it's because it's tilted over. The North Pole basically points towards the sun. It's like it's been hit by something and it's fallen over. Whereas most, planets rotate upright. This one rotates on its side.
It's on the wonk.
It's a very wonky planet. So it goes around the sun once every 84 years. So if you live at the North Pole, you get 40 years of continuous sunlight and then 42 years of continuous darkness. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what would happen if you're waiting for the sun to come up. You'd be in for a long wait.
You would be in for a long wait, yes.
Yeah. So I guess cockerels on Uranus would take a long time to crow.
Well, they'd never crow, would they? Because they'd
be frozen.
Yeah.
But if you took a cock to Uranus, it would take 42 years.
Does it have any moons?
Oh! Has it got moons? It's definitely got moons. It's not as bad as Jupiter or Saturn, but it has got 28 of them. And they're mainly named after characters from Shakespeare and Alexander Pope. So the main ones are Miranda, Ariel, Umbriel, Titania, and Oberon. So that's all. Is that all Midsummer Night's Dream and things
Ariel's,
like that?
No, Ariel's... Yeah, is Ariel? Or is Ariel in the other one?
I don't know. How's your Shakespeare, Paul?
No, not so great, but I did know that, yes. I did recognise.
I thought Ariel... I thought Ariel was the one with the...
yeah.
With Caliban.
Titania...
Titania's the Queen of the Fairies.
Is Queen of the Fairies in Midsummer Night's Dream.
Mm.
And that was also discovered by William Herschel in 1787. So yeah.
But I think Ariel is named after somebody in Tempest.
Is it?
Is it not the Tempest?
Could be.
The Caliban.
I was just thinking, you know how recently some celebrities went up into yes, deals. Some celebrities went up into space, but they didn't go that far. They just went up enough to float around a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just thinking. The thing is, though, they're not very. Most of them aren't that famous celebrities. They're like yes, deals. They're like celebrities who are past their Best Buy dates. So I was wondering what sort of celebrities. What sort of celebrities are comparable? Like, if this had happened in the 1970s, would they be like people off on the buses or like?
I like the idea of a moon named Olive.
Yeah.
Or like new faces or something like. Although I guess those people would have been starting off, but. a lot. Sometimes, what deals? What? You're a celebrity. You are a celebrity, but you're much more famous than most of them people. Yeah, sometimes celebrity people start low and then they go up and then they come down again and they kind of go back to being as famous as they were when they started. Do you think Basil Brush would have gone into space? I mean, although Basil Brush is kind of a legend.
I'm sure there's an episode of the Basil Brush show where he does go into space.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is.
I'm pretty sure there is.
I think there might be a Christmas special along those lines. I have a feeling.
I think we've seen one like that, haven't we?
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't see why you couldn't have done that. I mean, space became quite a big thing in the 70s anyway. I mean, because you've got the moon landings in 1969, but then late 1970s there's a lot of space stuff as well because of Star Wars. So.
Pigs in space.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but yeah, I'm never quite sure I'd be very good at being in space. I'd probably get motion sickness.
Yeah, you're not very good at.
I mean, I never used to be very good at travelling in a car. So, but yeah.
Well, thank you for telling us about Uranus, and
that's fine. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we can do it again soon.
Yeah, but I would say it's worth taking a look at. If you know, I got excited when I saw it the other month, didn't I? So
yes,
I came in and shouted, "I've seen Uranus!"
You did,
and you were sympathetic, weren't you?
Yes.
Yes, you're very good like that. Okay, well, shall we toddle off again? Yeah. Okay.
All right, bye for now.
Okay.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Hi, hey, who? Hello, listeners. It's Sunday morning. We survived Eurovision. I didn't record during Eurovision because we just didn't. We were distracted. But it was a great evening. Lots of nice food and drink, and I voted for Luxembourg, Spain, and another one, Luxembourg, Spain, and Denmark, maybe. And none of them won. Austria won, which was an okay song. I mean, the UK did better to start with than it had done with the jury vote, but the audience vote, they got 0 points and dropped down to 19th. But I didn't think that there were, real standout songs. Having not watched it for a while, I don't think anyone was so good that they were obviously going to win, but obviously political voting gets involved. Whilst I say that nothing really stood out, also nothing was terribly, terribly bad. Well, maybe one or two, but no. I got most excited when Sophie Ellis-Bextor turned up to give out the points for the UK, and I also the person who gave out the points for Italy was a mouse. I had to text Gianluca. I think he said, I guess this is the answer. I said, who is this mouse? He gave the UK 12 points in Eurovision, and Gianluca replied, Topo Gigio. So I have to find out more about that. It was an amazing little mouse. I was most tickled. Anyway, so all in all, a good night. I woke up a little bit early and then fell asleep again, and now it's nearly 10 o'clock. Well, it is 10 o'clock. So I need to go and find out what's going on. We are supposed to be going out later, so possibly need to get moving, or possibly there's no rush. It's fine. Okay, I'll report back. Hi listeners, we're in God's Hill at the old Smithy and Gardens, where I've just pigged a slice of quiche and some salad and 2 bits of chicken curry sandwich that I was fed, and we've also got cream teas to go and cake and stuff. Probably going to get the bus back from here rather than do more, because it's a nice day. It'll be a nice day just to chill. So not sure there's that much more to report. There's some shops to look at, so I might do that. So who knows what will happen. But that was a nice lunch, and yeah, I think that's all I have to say for the moment. More in a bit. Hi listeners, Mark's here, and he's going to teach us some words, numbers, because I'm recording with him so we can have him in the title sequence for some episodes. You're doing Finnish first? No. Are you going to do Dutch first? Okay. All right. Should I copy you with the first part of the lesson? Should I try and?
You can give it a go.
Yeah. So you do 1 to 10 and give me a chance to.
Okay. 1 to 10 in Dutch.
Yeah.
So 1,
2,
2,
3,
2.
3.
No, the 2.
2.
2.
3.
2.
3.
Yeah. 3.
3.
No, 3.
3. I can't do the R. I can't do.
D.
Where does that come in?
Three.
Drie.
4.
5.
5. 6.
7.
7.
7.
8. 9. 10. Goed zo.
What does that one mean?
Very well. Very good.
Okay, good. Can you tell me, you know a lot of Dutch? Don't you?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Can you tell me some, like, animal names? Like, what's cat?
Kat.
Cat. Dog?
Hond. Yeah.
What about pig?
Varken.
What about giraffe?
Giraffe. No. Giraffe. Yeah, I think it's giraffe.
Giraffe.
It's been a while.
That's right.
Let me just look that up. I'm sure it's giraffe.
Whilst I'm here, I know what elephant is in Italian.
Giraffe, apparently.
Giraffe.
Yeah.
I think I know what I've forgotten what Italian giraffes are, but I know elefanti is Italian elephants. What's elephants?
Olifant.
Mm-hmm. What about a tree?
Boom. Yeah, boom. Little tree, boompier.
And what about frog?
I know this one.
I'm sorry, we don't have to do frog.
I know it.
Kermit.
It's not Kermit. What? I just had to pull it from my mind a little bit. It's been a while.
That's right.
Yeah, of course it is. Kicker.
Oh, that's quite a lot of lessons. I think we'll bring Mark back again to do some other Dutch words another time, but I think that's enough, listeners, you can practice. But now we're going to record just one number in... No, Dutch is what we're doing 10 numbers of. So you're going to do me... I won't parrot you this time. But you're going to do 766 to about 775.
Okay. So, 766. 767. 768. 769. 770. 771. 772. 773. 774. 775.
I think that's simple enough that I'll be able to work out what that was, because of some of the numbers are not. I've got some basis in what like faith and things like that. Okay, now we're going to move on to Finnish. What can you do me in Finnish? Okay, what general things can you do me? What words can you just? Yeah, you tell me you tell me a word and I'll learn it.
I can count.
You can count.
To at least 20.
Okay, do that. Is it worth me parroting? Or am I going to make a complete pig's ear of it?
You can try.
Go on then.
So, uksi. Kaksi. Kolme. Neljä. Viisi. Kuusi. Seitsemän. Kahdeksan.
Yhdeksän.
Kymmenen.
10.
11.
Yksitoista, I like that one.
Kaksitoista.
12.
Kolmetoista.
13.
Neljätoista.
14.
15.
15.
16.
16.
17.
17.
18.
18.
Udexantoister.
Udexantoister.
Caxicamenta.
Caxicamenta. Is that
1 to 20?
1 to 20. Phew.
My pronunciation might be rubbish, but I gave it a go.
That's right. We're learning. We're teaching. We're doing stuff. Is there any other words that you can tell me? Other aren't numbers. Don't worry if not.
In Finnish?
Yeah.
Dog is koira.
Koira.
Yeah. Trying to think now. You put me on the spot.
That's all right. We can do more next time. You can think of some words when you're doing, because you do this one on Duolingo. Is that right?
Uh-huh.
So maybe you can think of a few between now and next time we meet, and we can do some more lessons next time.
Mm-hmm.
And you can think of some good words.
Mm-hmm.
But are you going to be able to do? They're going to do one number just for one episode in Finnish.
Okay.
Which is 766.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. Just bear with me. Okay. Seitsemän sataa kuusikymmentäkuusi.
That's a long one. Can you do this next one as well? It's like 667 as well.
Seitsemän sataa kuusikymmentäseitsemän.
Well,
I apologise to any Finnish listeners.
Listeners, we know more than we did at the start of the show. Never say that the Shy Life podcast doesn't educate. You've learnt some Dutch, you've learnt some Finnish. Come on. What more can you ask for? Anyway, thank you very much, Mark /KV, and thank you. We'll do some more lessons next time. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Isn't it good?
Cut the giraffe one out.
Oh, did you get it badly wrong?
Yes.
Oh, it's okay. We forgive you.
Apparently, it's giraffe, and I'm like going, is it? I'm like going, it doesn't even follow the Dutch G pattern.
Ridiculous. Anyway, Mum, you're going to tell us about some books that, that sort of
caught my eye.
Caught your eye. That's from the ones that were given to you to put in the phone box or to do as you will with. Which ones? Which would you like to tell us about?
Well, how can I explain? It feels I'm a bit shy about showing my poor taste in literature. So I'll start with one that I can't find it, so I won't start with that one. Anything. I've never been to Venice and will never go again.
Never not go.
Never
not go.
So. And Paul's told me so much about it, so I've read non-fiction about Venice and any novel that appears which about Venice. So I'm beginning to know the pattern of the streets.
You might know more about Venice than I do. I've just been there.
So I've got no idea. This is called, about the author, this is called 1,000 Days in Venice, An Unexpected Romance. And I don't like romances, but still. That's not what I'm reading it for. By Marlene de Blasi, who I've never heard of. But hey, it was free, and it might actually contain quite a bit of interesting information. I do like thrillers. I don't know why. I don't like murder. I'm not that keen on Stephen King because I don't like gory murders. I don't like skin being taken off, etc., or,
I think anyone does.
or insides being opened and eaten, etc.
Oh dear.
I did find this book. I must admit, sometimes it's the cover which attracts me, or the fact that it's in excellent condition, and I'm getting hold of a £20 book for free. But we have lots of Martina Cole books put in there, so obviously she's quite a favourite of someone or some people. So I thought I'd try hers. So this one is one I've got no idea. I haven't started it. Called Loyalty, and it was published in 2023. So it was probably, when I picked it up, it was probably her latest book. We get another latest. In fact, I think it was his last book. Was John le Carré's book before he died. So. You get them.
This doesn't happen on radio, on BBC Radio, does it?
Yes, I think the last one that John le Carré wrote was called Silver View.
Yeah.
And I've got a nice penguin edition, which somebody kindly left us. And just for the very fact that it is his last one, so I can boast and say I've read it. I haven't read many of his otherwise, because I'm not very keen on spies. I get too confused. And another thing I get very confused about is foreign names. So I'm not so keen on characters that are set in, when it's set in China or Thailand or Russia, because I get the characters all mixed up because I can't remember their names. I have to try and give them names that we've given the cats or something in past years, so I can try and remember them. I was very interested in the life of bringing this up a bit from the theme of murder, etc., of David Tomlinson, the actor who was the bank manager in Mary Poppins, and his life. I saw a stage play with I can't remember his name, Jupp. Can't remember his Christian name now. A one-man show which he did, which was really, really good. And I've read one biography on him.
It'd be Miles Jupp.
Miles Jupp, that's right, yes. This is called Disney's British Gentleman. He was a great friend of Walt Disney because he had one of his children, his youngest child, was handicapped. And Disney, he was the franchise of the Mary Poppins, I believe, and he was very kind to him, and they became great friends. And he had such a rotten start in life. Right, I don't know how many more you want me to...
Yeah, come on.
Oh yes, up-to-date comment. Robert Harris, Conclave. I've read that. Excellent read. I thought I'd be bored stiff with it, but one of our users at the telephone box recommended it, and he does so much research. I'll go back. Usually I'm not very keen on historical fiction of any sort, because I like to feel that I know how authentic it is and how true the facts are. But I think you can say with Robert Harris, he does so much research, and that the things that happen, he just fleshes it out with the characters and the conversations. And so I enjoyed Conclave, which I read about a year ago. And I've got one called An Officer and a Spy, which was published in 2014, actually. But I found that in the telephone box, as I say, and it's about the Dreyfus case, and I had heard about the Dreyfus case early 1900s in France, and never really understand what it was about. But this one, An Officer and a Spy, when explaining it in the easily digestible form, so I thought that was...
What about this hardback one here? Is this two stories It's Henry James.
When I was attracted by it. It's such a lovely binding. And
Is Daisy Miller the name of one of his stories as well?
I think Daisy Miller must be. The other one is The Turn of the Screw, which I've read, but I can well read again. And in fact, this was a Reader's Digest compilation.
What Reader's Digest does? It goes to my head that sometimes Reader's Digest can be. Oops, you've lost a page of that one, so that.
No.
Oh, no, it's not. Is it?
It's
like a review.
It's a leaflet. The world's best reading. There's a little leaflet about.
Oh, it comes with it. Because Reader's Digest as well. As Reader's Digest sometimes concise versions.
That is what I'm afraid of. But I just picked it up before anybody else did. So I must say that not many of the more classical books go very well, actually. They usually end up in the charity shops. But I don't know how long The Turn of the Screw is but as I say, I have read that one anyway. I mean, the whole book is only 200 pages. Pages. It's quite a chunky book, isn't it? You know, long. The pages are quite large.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. We can have a look. We can have a look and just for you and see if you're not sure. But it's a nice book. The next book is a hardback as well. We were talking about this author, Sarah Waters. You've got a hardback of The Little Stranger, which I think I've got a copy of, because Sarah Waters is an author that Toby introduced me to. In fact, I remember reading the book The Night Watch when I was in hospital 10 plus years, well, more than 10 years, more like 15 years ago. No. Anyway.
I think I've read one, but I can't honestly say.
I think you might have read the Night Watch. I think that's the one where it's set in World War II, and you read the story backwards.
Right, no, I can't remember it.
And they've also made TV versions of a lot of her.
Yes, there's Fingersmith.
Because she did Tipping the Velvet as well, and and they made a film of they made a film of The Little Stranger, and then she did another book after that called The Paying Guests in 2014, and she's written a play and she's been involved with adaptations of things, but we were talking, I was sort of saying to you, it's about time she did another book. It's like over 10 years, but I've just done a little bit of a search and I can't see any mention that she might be working on something, but it's obviously not close to being published.
No, this one, Little Stranger, was published.
I lent you the movie of that, I think.
It was in 2009, and it's 500 pages.
Well, books are quite, and there's a lot of research because there's usually some historical.
I don't know what this one's like at all, but I'm very keen, or I have been in the past, although I've read most of them now. This is an early one by Tracy Chevalier. Again, she does her research. I read one about a character who her work was making buttons, and one that was, I don't know if it was in the same, they made lace, but she goes into so much detail about how this was done by hand in the 18th, 19th century, that again, you learn a bit while you're actually just reading a pleasant story. So Tracy Chevalier, but I don't know that she wrote The Girl with the Pearl Earring and Falling Angels.
We're running out of time, and we've got a few books, so we might have to skip some of them or do them quickly. I think that one you got there, the P.D. James, The Mistletoe Murder, I feel like I've got a copy of that, and those are short stories.
Those are short stories, that's right. Yeah. And I've got another short story one.
Oh, we've got Jigs and Reels by Joanne Harris.
Oh, yes.
So I think that's short story.
Yeah.
I think I might have a copy of that as well.
Yeah, no, I liked, I read Joanne Harris' Chocolat, because it kept appearing in the telephone box. Obviously, there's quite a few people who bought it over the years. And then, of course, it was a film, wasn't it? And I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. It was so unusual,
Makes you want to eat chocolates. I think I did. I think when I saw the film, I think I might even have bought myself some chocolates from Hotel. Yes, we were good.
I've got the gardeners.
Yeah. I think I might have bought myself some chocolates from Hotel Chocolat.
It always amazed me. She was able to run the shop and do all the things she did. In the character, the main character that ran the sweet shop, but she made all the chocolates in the evening, and gosh, she's quite out thinking about it. And a little girl who was only about 5 or 6 was allowed to go running off with the well, not exactly gypsy children down by the river. They were canal boat people, and she didn't worry about her being near the river or it being muddy and coming back dirty or anything like that, which I found was I thought, well, she wasn't a true mother in that respect anyway, but that would be giving away too much. So I've got that book, which is called Jigs and Reels, is short stories to go with my P.G. James.
And you've got Poirot and Me by David Suchet. He's just writing about working on. I mean, he did play Poirot for a long time.
He did all the Poirot parts of the television series, and I read John Suchet's autobiography about he and his wife. She died. She hadn't died when he wrote about her, but she had some Alzheimer's, and she subsequently died. And that was interesting because he written it well, and I thought so I'd give his brother and find out how he got on. I'm sure I'll find some interesting bits and pieces from Poirot. One last thing, so I found another. I always, as well as reading Venice, anything on Istanbul.
You can't say the name of that book.
So it's of Istanbul.
The B word of Istanbul.
By Elif Shafak. Just the fact that it is set in Istanbul, which we visited in the late 60s, and it was a marvellous time to visit it. And it was being westernised. Well, it had been westernised by Ataturk, the father of the Turks, in the 1920s. I can feel you're yawning now. But of course, the present president has swayed it completely back to the Islamic faith. But they were very keen on the British. And you would go into a shop, and the elderly shopkeeper didn't know what you were asking for, but he'd sort of indicate, wait a minute, and get his 12-year-old son or daughter to come out, and they could speak English well enough to know what we wanted in the shop. And it was very welcome back in the 60s.
An old friend of mine who I knew many years ago and helped with his English, and he helped with my illustrations for my poetry books. And we recently reconnected, and he's been on the show, or will have been on the show, or will be on the show soon. And he lives in Istanbul, and he's now an English teacher. I can't take the credit for that, I don't think, but maybe in some small way. But yes, your Venice book is Peter Ackroyd.
I've got another Venice book.
Peter
This is
Ackroyd.
non-fiction. Peter Ackroyd, who wrote about the Thames and London.
So that'll be well researched.
Again, the detail brings it to life. I've read one or half read, and then my age, who couldn't take a 1950s childhood, from tin baths to bread and dripping by Paul Feeney.
Yeah. Well, lovely to remember it fondly. Did you have a tin bath?
We didn't have a tin bath, but I do remember eating toast and dripping, particularly pork dripping.
I remember
it was very tasty.
I remember you saving dripping. I don't think I ever had it, but
that was for roast potatoes. Yeah. But no, if you had the jelly, just a little bit of dripping and the jelly, but of course it was very salty.
I think our time is. I think we're running out of time.
Yes.
The
I
clock
think
is.
somebody's trying to tell us. But anyway,
I think our phone box is a pretty good library and a pretty good. I don't think there's any problems in any of these books as far as.
All in excellent condition, as you can. Yes, hardback.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk to you again, and you can tell us some more of your finds in a few months' time. And I might be interested in that Poirot book if you enjoy it. Let me know. I never really watched a lot of. I probably did when he first started being Poirot, but it could be quite interesting. And
I'm sure there'd be how he actually learnt.
Well, behind the scenes.
Did the walk and the makeup and
I think Matthias likes Poirot, so he might find it interesting. But, anyway, thank you very much, Mum, and we'll speak to you again soon. And hopefully, I
hope you manage to read a few more.
I hope so. Reading any at this point would be good. But, all right, bye-bye.
I read poetry as well.
Yeah.
The poems every night on Robert Burns at the moment.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, I'm not too much of a Philistine.
No, we don't think we worry about that. Bye-bye for now. Well, listeners, that's about all we've got time for. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know it was all a bit unplanned and a bit sort of, I didn't quite know how it was all going to come together, but hopefully it would have come together nicely and you'll have enjoyed it. That was the main aim. So, yes, I can't really say much more because I'm recording this right at the start, so I don't know how it went either. But I'm sure it was great. Okay, so, thanks for listening. Join us again soon. Thank you to all the guests that appeared in this episode via the recordings that I made with them. And thanks to Mark and Fee for hosting me, and also their cats, Freya and Bonds, who you may or may not have met. I don't know if they're the sort of cats that talk, unlike Dealey. But anyway, join us again soon. Bye for now. Take care. All right, bye-bye now. Hi listeners, it's now Monday morning. I've said goodbye to KV, he's gone to work, and his best friend Fee is taking me back. Well, she's accompanied me on the buses back to where I need to catch the ferry, and I'm plenty early, so no rush. She's just gone to get me a coffee. So nice. So yes, I'm waiting for a train that takes me that one stop to the top of the pier, and they're either train spotters or maybe boat spotters. There's a hovercraft coming in and they're getting very excited. I don't get the hovercraft. I get the ferry. Anyway, as the weather is bright but cloudy, hopefully my my trip back across the water will be fine. Actually, sitting here, I can see Portsmouth from here, so it's not that far. As I said, about 25 minutes on the ferry. Anyway, I'll report back later. I think my coffee will be arriving in a minute.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Wow, really? No kidding.
Thank you, darling. And you too. Bye-bye.
Oh, that sounded good.
This show is part of the Pride 48 network. Find more shows over at pride48.com.
Oh dear. What's going on now? Oh, it's the Shy Life Podcast. Let's go.
I have a voice. I have a voice.
You have a voice.
You have a voice. We have a voice.
We have a voice.
Unique voices in podcasting.
UnivazPods.net.
That is so cringe, oh my god. You're a man of culture as well.
Hello listeners, we're on the boat again. We're nearly at Portsmouth though, so I won't stop long. It's probably the last message I'll record. I hope you enjoyed this episode. You got to hear Mark, and you got to go for an ice cream and a nice lunch. Well, I did, but you got to hear about it. Anyway, I'm sure we'll hear from Mark again. I hope you enjoyed the clips. I think I know what clips are going to go in this episode. Yeah, I hope they were good. Thank you for joining me. Keep me company on my journey, and yeah, I'll stop now as we're coming into the harbour, and I'll speak to you again soon, or in a minute, whatever. Anyway, goodbye from the ferry, and we shall be back though. You'll probably hear me again on this ferry at a later date. Alright. Play some music. Do whatever you have to do, editing Paul. Okay.
This is just the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Well, gotta tell you, I didn't expect that.
What the hell just happened on this show? I mean, seriously, reverse it, because I lost. What's going on? What happened?
Man, was that worth it or not? Oh my goodness, that was a darling little shoe. Wow, I love that one. Great show, Paul. Yep. That was a good
766.
How beautifully done.
Oi, oi, that's your lot.
Oh, everyone's a critic.
Et voilà.
You can always call me.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Saitsaman Sata Kusi Kamenta Kusi. 760.
Okay, stopping recording now.